the stew, I've been working on my craft. What I spend in the end, I make it back. And I keep my shawty right beside me. Ask me, that's true love, I could never need another side piece. Me and my gang on a long, long ride, cause we know life be a water slide. Step on the scene, they are running high, that's cause we all got the tiger pride. Niggas DM me just wanting to be.
Hey guys, so recently I've had a lot of requests to kind of make a tutorial on how I edited my videos, my highlights videos. So that's going to be doing today. Don't forget to follow my socials, subscribe, turn on the noty bell if you don't want to ever miss any videos. But yeah, let's get right into it. So I'm going to be teaching kind of like the basics. I'm going to be teaching how to do the intro, the kill effects, even the masking technique, and how to kind of sync up the audio, sync up the clips, and how to use velocity. Also, just so you know, you have to have a plugin called Sapphire. This is something I use and helps me a lot with the VFX. I would highly recommend you get that, and you need Sony Vegas. I'm using version 16 because I just find it better, and it is easier to use with the Sapphire plugins because they're bugged on Sony Vegas 17. So the first thing you're going to need is a song. I go into my downloads now real quick. I have one. So right here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my property settings. Okay, so I have a custom template that I've created, and these are my settings. You can just pause the video here so you can copy all of these settings. This here is what you want to be using, and you could just say, once you have it all done, you can just title it and then save it here to save template. Okay, I'm going to just quickly save this. Tutorial editing. I'm gonna make this, I'll call this intro. I generally render the intros first, and then afterwards it's just easier because I use quite a bit of effects for the intro, so it just takes longer to render, so I just like to render it and then put it into another file. Alright, what I did here is I just kind of keyframed some parts of the song where it's like a few beats. You can do this by just pressing M on the keyboard. So yeah, and then now what we need is cinematics. Cinematics, you can get them pretty much anywhere. You can search up on YouTube, cinematic packs. I have my own, which I'll show you right now, which I will have the link to this pack in the description right here. What I tend to do is I use the latest one for season 3 right here, and then I will search for 3 wide angle ones. Alright, so now that I have 3 cinematics downloaded, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go to project media and I'm going to import them from my downloads file. These are here are the 3. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. I'm going to drag them in here. Now what I'm going to do is I want it to start here. This kind of note right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just quickly gonna bring a fade in for the opacity, so it's just like this. And then what I'm gonna do as well is, well, first I'm gonna find a part where I actually wanted to start. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click, click insert, remove envelope, and then velocity. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly change this first point by right clicking it and then putting it on 500%. Then over here where I want it to start is I'm going to right click, add a point, and I'm going to make this normal velocity, and this gives me kind of like this image. So just zoom, it like goes from fast to slower. Right here, so we're gonna, right here towards the end I'm also going to add another point, and I'm going to put this one here up to 500. You'll see in a second why I do this. So it zooms out kind of a lot faster, so that now when I add in the second clip here, so I'm gonna do this, then I also add velocity one more time, set this to 500, go around the same place here, it's a normal speed. You'll see it'll be kind of like a smooth like transition between the two.
On my craft. What I spend in the end, I make it back.
Right here, I'm gonna same one more time here with the points. Is we're gonna bring in the text. But first here, what I wanted to do before, we have the water. So I'm gonna quickly separate this text, this part of the song right here. I'm gonna click on effects, and then I'm going to add track compressor. I'm going to add track EQ, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring the 1 from the EQ up, 2 slightly down, 3 slightly down, 4 down and to the left, and this here.
And I keep my shawty right beside me. Ask me.
This here is supposed to give kind of more of an underwater effect. I'm gonna quickly adjust it a little bit more.
My shawty right beside me. Ask me, that's true love.
So it sounds like this.
The end, I make it back. And I keep my shawty right beside me. Ask me, that's true.
So it seems a little bit more underwater, which is kind of cool. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to right click over here and click insert video track. I'm gonna do this twice. Then what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna add insert text. This here is what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna type in let's say, I don't know, tiger. Okay, that's the name of the song. My my font is Fugaz1. This is my font, but I'd highly recommend you get your own font so you kind of stick out as like an editor. I know the lmgk's one is Dimbo Italic, but I'd recommend that you get your own. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust the size to what I like. Now if I go to shadow here, I'm gonna enable the shadow, and then I'm gonna set the X offset to 0.05. Same for the Y, 0.05. Actually, no, not even more, actually. 0.03. 2.303. And then the shadow blur, I'm going to put that all the way down. What this does here is that it kind of gives like a, not like a shadow, but like kind of, yeah, kind of like a shadow, but like not a very blurred one. So this is what it is here. I'm also going to add the opacity thing in, opacity fade in. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this up here. Now just to add a little bit of like shadowish blur behind, I'm going to reopen the one on the bottom. And then I'm going to click the shadow blur and I'll put that on like 0.8-ish. That gives a little bit of shadow behind. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another video track. And here I'm going to insert an effect, which is the displacement map. We can just delete this soundtrack right here. I'm gonna have this over for the whole thing, for the whole intro. Here I'm gonna click on these 3 little dots, click on composite mode, go to custom. I'm gonna select biggest displacement map and add that. Here for these values I'm gonna go 0.002. Transparent background, I'm gonna switch that to wrap pixels around, and then alpha channel scales RGB channels. Tick that on. Now what I'm going to do is for these 2 text channels, I'm going to right click this here. I'm not going to right click, I'm just going to left click this here. I'll click make compositing child. Same for this one here. Now what this does basically is that it composites it, like it's kind of like the child of this track right here. So this displacement map will not affect any other part of your project except for these except for the text. So this here now, what it does is it makes like the text like spaz out a bit, as you can see here. Now this is cool, but like I find it a bit too fast for me. So in order to change that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click the displacement map, go to insert, remove velocity. Then I'm gonna set this to 40%, and this is a lot better. Alright. Oh, not what I meant to do. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another 2 video tracks. I'm going to drag these into the composite group. And then what I'm going to do for this is, I'm going to go to my documents folder here. I'm going to find, there you go, the Twitch logo. What I'm gonna do now with this here is I'm gonna quickly click on the crop button. I'm gonna zoom out here and I'm gonna rearrange this so that it is to the side of the edited by Solso. Like that. Now what I'm gonna do for this here is I'm just gonna copy this, go down here as well. So we have two of these now. This top one here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a contrast. This is normal that it takes slow sometimes with Vegas. It's just Vegas is quite slow. Now I'm gonna bring up the brightness so that it becomes white, just like the text. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go to the crop, and then I'm gonna add a keyframe at the start, and then halfway through, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to move this one slightly so that it creates like the same sort of shadow as the text has. And what this does is it'll create a little animation through where it'll show up, so you can see. That's what it's like. So now it kind of like shows up like that, which I find is kind of like a cool effect that not many people use. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm quickly actually gonna drag these up. So I need to create another text file. Obviously, because in Fortnite you need to the hashtag add. So I'm going to really can't say hashtag either in Vegas. I'm gonna go hashtag add. So I'm gonna quickly make this bold. And then here, if I go to text color, I can bring the transparency down, like so. Then I can go to shadows, add 0.05, 0.05, 0.05. Bring the shadow blur down as well. It's kind of like that. And now I want that to be over here. Like so. I'm gonna put this here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to transitions. I'm going to find a transition that I find is cool. Okay, here you go. For example, Nebulous, I find this one to be quite cool. I'm gonna make this the. Gonna make this the kind of. Oh. Gonna drag this just out here so I can this like that. Okay, and then now what this does is that it kind of just like shows up. That the cool effect. I'm just gonna quickly drag this to halfway so it takes a little longer. And then of course here at the end, I need to bring this the opacity down here as well, like that. It fades out as well. Now the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add some effects to the actual clips so that they look a lot nicer. So this is where the sapphire effects come in. So the first one is flicker. I have a cinematic preset already. You can just copy this here. Pretty much the only difference is the amplitude, which is 0.100. I'm going to apply those to all three of those. The second one is warp waves. I'm going to apply this as well now to all three. Here is, you can pause the video again if you want to copy these settings. Then I'm going to add contrast as well. These are my settings for contrast. Then we also have Gaussian blur, which is just 0.0050. So now this looks like this. What I spend in the end, I make it back. And I keep my shawty right beside me. Ask me, that's true. Alright, so now we're just gonna go ahead and render this. What we're gonna do quickly is we're gonna just extend this just until the end here, until it goes black. So now we're gonna go to File, we're gonna go to Render As. Now that we're in the render as section, we're going to select where we want to have it rendered. Go to the tutorial, intro, save. Now over here, I have another preset that I created. I can show you what that is. You go to customize template. This here is all the settings. So you can just pause the video once again, choose all of these settings, copy them. So yeah, and then we just render. Alright guys, now that that's done rendering, what we're going to do here is we're going to save another file and we're going to call this main. Now what we're going to do for this is we're going to go and find, have this saved, take this intro now and I'm going to put this in here. Now I'm going to take this song as well, put the song in here. Right, that's good. And right here, I'm gonna quickly separate it like that, so that it links again. Alright, now what you need is a clip. Alright, there we go. So we got 3 clips here now. Okay, so we're gonna take this first one here. Put this in here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna find that one moment just before you shoot, just before shot. So zoom in. It's kind of like here, but there you go, right here. This is the moment you want to find. Split the track, delete what's before. Then you want to bring the clip to your marker over here, and then you want to just extend this behind. Here now I'm gonna quickly bring a little fade in, so like this. This. Sorry. Just like that. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly add velocity to this. Right on my marker, I'm gonna add a point. A little bit before that, I'm gonna add a point, and then a little bit after, I'm gonna add a point. It has to kind of look like this. The left marker has to be closer to the middle than the right marker does. The middle one, we're gonna turn this to 200, and then the right one, we're gonna put it to 50, and that'll give us this effect. Like a quick, like a jerky motion, and then it'll move into slow motion. So once we have this now, we're gonna quickly separate these two here. We're gonna go to video effects here, and then I'm gonna go to Gaussian blur. Now over here, this is just kind of the values that I have. I'm gonna set keyframe for this, move this slightly forward, and then bring this to 0. Then over here, I'm gonna add flicker again. I'm gonna just add the default settings right here. So it's supposed to look like this. So that's kind of like the basic effect that you can have. So if I make this a little bit bigger screen so you guys can see this a little bit better, I'll show you what it looks like. So that's kind of like the basic effect that you can have. Then as well, when it comes to personal preference, you can search up different effects. So for example here, this is what you've seen in the example. I'm going to bring in the hue, and then I'm going to click the keyframe button, go all the way to the end, add the hue all the way to the end like this, then you'll get yourself a cool colorful effect like this. So what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna add another marker right here. So this is where I'm gonna cut it off and delete this marker now. I go back to effects and this is 1000. Okay. Now I'm gonna add in the second clip. So I'm gonna make it this one here. Quickly gonna add a marker first though. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm quickly gonna split this here, and then I'm gonna go to insert and then freeze frame at cursor. So this stays still. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove all the effects from this here so it doesn't flicker. Just like so. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a another video track. This here is kind of the Solso style of doing, this is my style of doing the masking technique. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go here, well, over to the crop button. I'm gonna click on mask. I'm gonna open this up quite a bit. So just like so. And now all you do is just you start masking around the character. Just like so. I tend to not spend a lot of effort on this, but you can if you want to. Now I'm going to search up edge, and I'm going to find sedge detect. This is the masking settings that I have for it, so I'm going to quickly add that over here. So just copy these settings if you'd like to. So I'm just going to add this red back into here. These are the settings you want to copy if you do want to copy them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this over here. I'm going to delete quickly the audio track. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this opacity thing just like this. I'm going to bring this to about like 70% through. Then I'm going to remove the effects from the bottom one, so it kind of like fades the effect in like so. I'm actually going to bring this down a little bit more to like half. It's like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to crop, event crop, from this one here. And then I'm going to, and by the way, for this here, what we can do is that once this is here, you just cut this here, so it's like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the event crop here. I'm going to click on position. Then I'm going to add a keyframe right about here. And then I'm going to go towards the end. And then as I want my characters to fly left, I'm going to quickly bring this all the way to the right. Now this kind of does this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add RSMB. This is another plugin you might want to have. I'm going to add RSMB to this clip. It's like a smooth, it adds bush and blur to the transition. So right here, this is pretty much what we want. Now what we do is we drag this over here. Then we'll zoom this back right over here. Right here. This is where we're gonna split the clip here. So we're gonna copy this clip here. We're gonna go to we're gonna bring the our cursor to the start. Right click, freeze frame this. We're gonna remove the sound on this because we want it to be a freeze frame. Now we're gonna bring this over here. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to mask this one as well. So we're gonna go to mask. Alright, now that this is done, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing as for the other clip. I'm gonna add over here, delete audio track right here. Now what we're gonna do is we're going to add the edge detect. So again, these are the values, just with the red like this. And now what we're going to do is we're going to add RSMB to this one as well. And now if I go into the crop, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to position. And to create the transition that we had before, I'm going to add a keyframe at the start, but I'm going to bring this all the way to the left so that this is kind of the viewpoint. The character is going to come in from the right to the left. So I'm going to add a keyframe here, bring this in a little bit, add another keyframe, and then bring this like so, where it's supposed to be like that. There. This now, as you can see, like that. Oh yeah. Let me just copy this one here so that we have the same animation here for this one. I'm just gonna remove the edge detect on this one here. Now what we're gonna do is towards the end here, we're just gonna quickly move this here so that it comes back into like a more realistic view again. So it can directly just move right back into this. Now once again, we're going to add velocity to our clip. Just like so, so it's just like that. Now as well, something that you can add is sound effects. So I'm going to add this bass swoosh sound, and I'm gonna have this also in the link below, like back in the down in the description. I'm gonna have this linked as well. So now I'm gonna add these to all the kills. This gives kind of like a really cool like whoosh sound effect, which adds on to the kills quite a bit. Now all I'm gonna do is I'm just quickly gonna bring up the sound a little bit here, so you can hear it better, because that makes it a lot cooler. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another video track. I'm going to bring this kind below the kill clips, and then I'm going to add a few effects. Now these videos, I'm not going to link them below, but literally all you have to do is just search up overlays on YouTube, and you will find so many overlays such as these, you know, and like it's gonna help a lot. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add an orange overlay here. I'm also gonna add the grainy one on top first. The sound track, there's no need for us to have it. So this is what it looks like now for the background. Then I'm gonna add the orange one below this. Oh, but there's an issue. Add the orange one here, and then I'm gonna quickly remove the soundtrack for that. Bring this up here. Delete this track as well. Now what I need to do is I need to go over here, click on composite mode. Don't remember which one it is. Hold on. Add. There you go. So this here now adds on the two. I find this quite a cool one right here. You can really do anything. Just like that, right? So here. Alright. That's pretty cool. Just delete these now. So yeah, that's pretty much kind of it. That's kind of how I did this. And then, you know, of course, you have a lot of other things you can explore. Please, you know, subscribe. It took me a long time to record these. I put a lot of effort into my highlights videos. Turn on the notification bell if you really don't want to miss a video. Comment down what else you'd like to see in the future. Comment down as well if you'd like to see any other editing tutorials, if you have any questions on what I did in my videos. Don't forget to follow my socials, so Twitter, Instagram, you know, Twitch. So yeah guys, anyways, see you soon. Peace.